Today is a good day for the goats. We had some fall off on the horse hay, and so they get that, and so they don't complain one bit at all. It's kind of like a buffet for them. I want to introduce you to, we got Mandrake. He is our buck, and then the two females are Dandy and Delilah. So they're all named after flowers. If you continue to read in Genesis, you're going to find Mandrake comes up. And this is what Jacob uses with his father-in-law Laban to build his herd. He uses the mandrake that it might create some spots and stripes in the goats, and so we thought it would be perfect, since we have a flower theme, to name him that. Now, Mandrake is going to hopefully be the father of these kids that come out here, and when you're running a herd, that's not unnatural. But in our story today, you're going to find something that is going to be rather disturbing. It doesn't fit our culture at all, because we're not talking about goats, we're talking about humans. And so as you read in Genesis 27 through 29, you're going to see that Jacob has to leave. And so his mother is seeing this and seeing that Esau is extremely upset, and that Jacob's got to go. So convinces the father that they need to send him away, that he can marry someone of his own people. And so they send him to Haran, and he's on his way. When he gets there, he finds a well, and so he waters his flocks, and then he waters the flocks of another to find out these are Laban's flocks. Now, he sees Laban's youngest daughter, and he absolutely loves her. And so the arrangement is that he is going to work 7 years for her. And so he does, and he says it went by very quickly, is the way he describes it. So it's the time of the marriage, and what happens? But now Laban switches the eldest with the youngest. This is very disturbing to Jacob. You see, he is now kind of suffering a little bit from the games that he's played in the past. Now he's suffering with this. So now he's got to work another 7 years again for the youngest. So you find that he has 2 wives, kind of like Mandrake here. But he's a human, and so that's very disturbing for us to look at that. One of the things that we need to really pay attention to is that just because something is documented in the Bible does not mean that God puts his hand upon it. And as humans, we have a tendency to really either polarize and look at one thing and ignore another, or we'll just ignore sin altogether. What do I mean? Well, we think it's very disturbing for someone to have multiple wives. Let me tell you that in our culture today, it seems that people don't have any problem at all with infidelity before and during marriage. Well, folks, God doesn't put his blessing on that, and we have suffered from that as a society. The other thing is that you'll see divorce after divorce after divorce. And this isn't something that God is pleased with either. And so it's very easy to take a look at the Bible and say that this is where the nation of Israel came out of, this mess, and not see the mess that we're in. Here's what we really need to focus on. We need to focus on the fact that God blessed them in their mess. We need to acknowledge the mess that we're in as a people, and realize that God can still bless, God can still hear, God can still lead, and God can still fulfill his word. When you look at it that way, instead of pointing out the other people's sin, if you can own your own and realize that God can still bless in the midst of all that, then maybe we can turn things around. Thank you so much for listening to these devotionals. Hopefully in the future, I'll be able to show you the kids that they have, hoping that's what it is. And love you all. God bless. Thank you so much for watching these. And you'll see the text and the devotional below. See you tomorrow.